Well, hello there, everybody. As you may not be able to tell, I just went out on a run. Had to decompress a little, get a little bit of endorphins flowing, and get the mood up. And I kind of overestimated how much energy I had in my legs, and ran out of steam about 2 k's from home. So I thought I might catch a bus, but bus services have apparently been disrupted. So I guess I'm walking that last 2 k's. And thought while I'm doing that, I'll use the time productively and send a message to everyone to let you all know how things are. Yeah, so things are pretty rough over here. Let me just give you for those who I haven't spoken to and who are just hearing from me for the first time since this war began, I'll bring you up to speed very briefly with how things happen from our perspective here. Don't worry, I'm going to skip over gruesome bits. It's not my intention to make you sick or disgusted or whatever. You've probably been getting plenty of that already from your news and social media. But basically, on Shabbos morning, Simchas Torah morning, I woke up ready to go to shul, and we're hearing all these booms off in the distance, and I'm wondering, like, it's not thunder, it's certainly not going to rain, and it's what's going on? Is it like explosions from the quarry? No, there's no way the quarry's making that many explosions. I thought, I think that's actually Iron Dome. Gewalt. Probably the IDF took out another Hamas commando or something, and now they're starting another volley of missiles or something just to show who's boss. So anyway, I went out to shul. On the way to shul, it's already clear that something's wrong, because our neighborhood is one where you don't often see cars on Shabbos or Yom Tov, and there were emergency vehicles going all over the place. And one police car stopped and told somebody near me, I heard the second hand, that there's stuff going down around Gaza, and it's really bad, and it's like another Yom Kippur war. And I was like thinking, what? He left it at that and drove on with his to do whatever he needed to. And I was like thinking, like, what the heck? What do you mean Yom Kippur? How can it be like that? How can it be? That's just ridiculous. Anyway, went into shul, carried on the davening, and then we started hearing explosions much closer. And a few seconds later, sirens went. So we have our instructions in our shul. We've got a very, very strong balcony in the women's section, and instructions were to get underneath those balconies, because that's your best area of protection in case the building Chas v'Shalom is struck by a missile. So we ran downstairs, and we were downstairs. The women ran downstairs as well to get themselves under cover, and stayed there for a minute or so until the sirens stopped. Gave it a bit of time, and then carried on. And then 2 minutes later, more sirens, back to where we came from. The Baltz fellow was in the middle of Kaddish. He started in the middle of Kaddish, and he didn't get to finish the Kaddish before the sirens went again, and we had to run for cover again. And throughout Simchas Torah, throughout the hakafas and the laning and everything, we had a total of six sirens going throughout the time. I started hearing from all the emergency personnel who were allowed to keep their phones on and everything. They started bringing back these reports, these ghastly reports of what is happening on in Sderot and in other areas surrounding Gaza, and it was just I couldn't actually wrap my mind around that such a thing could be happening. It was like, this is a script from one of these awful zombie apocalypse dystopia movies where it's just like you look at it and you munch your popcorn and say, wow, that's ridiculous. I mean, that could never be. It can't be in human existence that people could do such things. Yeah. So anyway, I wasn't feeling up to dancing. I heard this and I just thought, I'm gonna sit outside. I sat myself outside the shul, because if we were inside the shul with the dancing going on, it was impossible to hear sirens. So actually it was a couple of times that I was sitting outside, I heard the sirens, I ran inside and I had to yell and whistle to get people's attention to get under cover because they couldn't have heard it with all the singing going on. It's bizarre. It was just in retrospect, it's bizarre to think of the fact that, the slaughter was going on around Gaza and we were, singing and dancing as if nothing was happening, because we just had no idea what was really going on. Anyways, we went home and we still heard all these crazy stories, and fog of war and no direct access to news, and you can imagine the kinds of horror stories that people kind of inflate. And somebody came and said that the whole of Ashkelon had been captured, and that they were that they'd got aircraft and were bombing Israeli cities. And there was a point where the stories became just too ridiculous to be believed, and we chose to keep our moods up by saying, look, this whole story must be inflated, because there's just no way that this could actually have happened the way we're hearing it. And so end of Shabbos came, and it was still Yom Tov Sheni in Chutz La'aretz, and many of us in our shul were faced with a dilemma of what to do about notifying our relatives overseas, because many of us have family who are not Shomer Shabbos, who are not Shomer Yom Tov, and we love them, and we want to let them know that things are okay, but we don't also want to be responsible from our side for causing any sort of violations of Yom Tov on their side. And I went and asked my Rav Haber, and he said, in his opinion, you have to let them know. You have to send them a WhatsApp, a voice note, whatever. So they're going to be reading the things anyway, and you're not causing them to do anything. It's up to them if they want to read and listen. And honestly, it's just a Durabanan. Even the questions about what kind of Durabanan it is, even touching the cell phone and playing a voice note. These are all technicalities. But the bottom line is, Kibbut Avayim is Doraisa. It's a Torah mitzvah to honor your parents, and they are sitting on shpil because you have got to let them know that you're okay. So that's what we did. I came home and caught up on the awful news of what had happened. It was I actually just fell on the floor. I couldn't believe the reports that were coming of how many innocent people had just been slaughtered, cold blood. I don't want to dwell on it. It's been enough. You've got to have mercy on your neshama for these things, because there's only so much you can actually take without falling apart. I did not sleep very well Motzei Shabbos, and there were crazy prayers going on all around. People were coming together praying and saying Tehillim, mobilizing the home front, trying to get. Every single family in my block has got children in the army, and they're all being called up and praying for their safety. Everyone in the neighborhood, we've got lists of people in the neighborhood who's all being called up, and Hashem should keep them all safe. And I spent Sunday honestly in a daze. I was not really functioning. I was addicted to all the social media and the news updates, and just seeing the death toll mounting, and honestly it was I was absolutely broken. It came a point early afternoon. I actually just broke down and cried like when I watched Schindler's List, like when I heard about the 9/11 Twin Towers. It's just a wrenching cry. And eventually I pulled myself together and resolved to stop watching the news for a bit because it was not helping my mood. It was bringing me down, and I needed to be functioning. So I stopped watching the news, and I decided that it was time for me to just try and get back into routine, into boring stuff. And it's so difficult to do normal stuff because look, I'm not an expert in psychological terms, but I thought survivor's guilt was when you question why it was that I survived, why did I deserve to get through it, and feel guilty that somebody else died and not me. I don't think that's upshot. And look, you psychologists out there can correct me, but maybe I'm using the wrong terminology, but what I was experiencing was the guilt of doing normal stuff while people around me were dying. I felt like I should be following, I should be showing my solidarity with Am Yisrael, with everyone, with what is going on, by following and just by tormenting myself with what is happening. That somehow would expiate my guilt at not being on the front, at not being involved. And I decided that I'm done with that because all I'm doing is destroying myself. So instead, what I did was I went onto YouTube and I watched the highlights reel of Tottenham winning against Luton, and having that ridiculous vicarious joy of knowing that my team, yay the Spurs, that my team would be top of the Premier League. Woohoo! Absolutely meaningless. Like I was there, scoring that goal, and like I was there, being the champion. But they're my team, so I feel like I'm better. But you know what? If that's what gets my mood up, I'll take it from wherever it comes. And I read a silly book and just did normal stuff. Tried to do a bit of work, and took myself to bed early because I know in myself that when I haven't slept well, it drags my mood down quite ridiculously. So yeah, I took myself to bed early, and that helped. That helped a lot because yesterday morning I woke up and I was feeling a lot stronger, a lot more capable of taking on the world. Look, the situation now is that you can actually hear the booms going on right now. I can hear some Iron Dome interceptions happening overhead somewhere, but quite far off in the distance. It's not likely that would cause an alert over here. Anyways, the situation over here is that we haven't had any more rocket alerts since Shabbos morning, not in Beit Shemesh at least. There have been alerts in other places. They were shooting towards Jerusalem yesterday, and one missile actually landed in Beit Ha'elit. My mechatonster, my son-in-law's mother, was working in Beit Ha'elit, and the sirens went over there. She went into the shelter. They got the all clear, came out and found that her car had been hit by shrapnel. The car was actually, it wasn't totaled. It was because you could actually drive it, but all the windows were shattered, and there was some major damage to the bodywork. But thank God she's okay, and that is the most important. Yeah, and I think from what I hear in the news, and you can never really know what's going on because we really are still in fog of war, and we don't truly know what's going on. But from what we're hearing, the last pockets of terrorists on Israeli soil have been flushed out. They're still. I think last I heard there were still like a couple of that they suspected there might still be a few more hiding. So they're still trying to flush out places. But all the hostage situations inside Israel have been cleared out, as far as I'm aware, and the army has complete control of the border again. And meanwhile, there is Hamas opened the gates of hell on themselves. They use that phrase a lot, and they're now finding out what happens when you murder thousands of people from the country that's supplying you with water, electricity, and gas, because we're not doing that anymore. So there's a lot of distraction raining down on Gaza right now. I'm caught in this I don't know if it's a dilemma, but there are two conflicting feelings. One is, damn it, it's actually geschmack. It's nice. It gives some sense of justice to watch those buildings blowing up, collapsing, watching the terrorists getting taken out one by one, just watching hell raining down on them. And I just want to say, like, one part of me wants to literally say, turn the place into a parking lot, drive them out, expel them, let them cross over into Egypt, and let it be Egypt's problem. Let them deal with their fellow Arabs in the best way that they can, because we cannot tolerate having an enemy state next door us that doesn't know the meaning of deterrence. Because we thought up until now we had a doctrine of deterrence, that if we just showed them that every time they attacked us, they would get it back 5 times, 10 times worse, they would realize it's not worth it to attack. But it's the wrong calculus. That's the calculus you use on a rational actor, on somebody who wants to hurt you but doesn't want to be hurt himself. We're not dealing with rational actors here. We're dealing with people who actually want to die. They want to die, but if in doing so they can kill as many Jews as possible, that's their best goal. That's their best end, because then they get the immediate divine reward, their 72 virgins or whatever that they're promised for killing Jews. That's who we're dealing with. And once your doctrine of deterrence has fallen apart, you cannot actually tolerate their existence. You actually cannot. What happens? We go in there, we clean them out, we destroy some weapons making plants, we kill a few terrorists, and if we move out again, then what's going to happen? It's just a question of time before they rebuild, rearm, and restart the next round of hostilities. It's not tolerable. It's not tolerable. And even if we say, well, okay, we're going to kill all of Hamas, so great, so we'll kill all of Hamas, but it's just one head of the Hydra. You have to kill the beast. I know that the politicians are not saying it out loud. If I were up there, I would be saying with heavy heart, we have no choice but to take Gaza and never leave. If the civilians leave, that's better. If they decide to stay, they give them a choice, that they accept Israeli sovereignty or find somewhere else to go. Because as costly as it was to occupy Gaza, we've just seen the cost of not occupying Gaza. And I do feel a lot of pain for the civilians in Gaza, because they may have elected Hamas, they may support Hamas, but they may not. But Hamas isn't giving them the choice to choose a different government or to choose peace. And who knows if they would or wouldn't. But I'm guessing that right now, if you had to offer the citizens of Gaza the choice between Israeli occupation or living like this under Hamas, I reckon a lot of sensible people out there would probably choose Israeli occupation. And you know, all of us have seen the awful footage of the Israeli captives, live and dead, being paraded through the streets of Gaza, and the citizens joyfully, you know, abusing them, yelling at them, kicking them, doing whatever other abuses on them. There's some bad people out there. At the same time, what those clips don't show you are there are probably some people who live in Gaza who either are disgusted by that behavior and are too afraid to show it because that would get them killed, or people who are afraid, you know, maybe support it but wouldn't have done it themselves. You know, there's going to be a spectrum of people in Gaza who support or don't support what Hamas did to various degrees. And is there a majority, minority? I don't know. I know that Avraham Avinu was pleading for the people of Sdom, who were every bit as disgusting as Hamas. He's pleading with God to save the entire city for the sake of 10 righteous people. I don't know that I can be Abraham and say, well, if there are 10 righteous people in Gaza, we should save them all. But directionally, that's kind of, you know, that's something that at least as a Jew does kind of resonate with me, and it pains me. It pains me hugely to know that there are going to be innocent people suffering. And I'm sorry, but we have no choice but to do it. It is very painful. It is very painful for everyone. And I really wish that we didn't have to do this, but we are going to have to do it. So one of the things I think that's really changed this time, and I have to give a shout out to Elon Musk. Elon Musk may well have changed the course of this war by acquiring Twitter, because if he hadn't come in and fired the Twitter editors, it would have been a very different story. Because you're getting there's like a knee-jerk reaction. There's a lot of terrible stuff going out on Twitter of the Iranians coming out with their support for the slaughter, of Hamas sharing their disgusting videos on Twitter, and your first reaction is like, my God, how can they allow this? How can they allow this on social media? And I say, you know what? It's actually better. It's better that we know who these people are and what they celebrate and what their joy is, because we can't keep on pretending that these are rational human beings. We cannot keep on pretending that there's somebody who if we just, you know, make nice with them, then they'll be peaceful to us. And if it had been the old Twitter staff, they would have been running interference and bringing down all these videos and trying to cover up the atrocities to preserve the Palestinian narrative of victimhood, and to keep the impression that Israel is always the aggressor and Israel is always bad, and if they would just be nice to those poor wretched Arabs, then there would be peace. But it's you're seeing everything in its raw, disgusting, horrible form on Twitter, and it's necessary. You have to see it, but don't see it too much. Just know it's there. Close your eyelids a little bit so when you see some of the stuff, but just know it's out there and know that this evil exists. Because if you pretend it doesn't exist, it's not gonna make it go away. A grudging thank you to Elon Musk for allowing all this evil stuff on Twitter, because we got to know about it. And as a result, your mainstream media types like CNN, BBC, MSNBC, all these people cannot keep on pretending that it's just that the narrative is about the poor Palestinians. We've ripped away the lie, we've ripped away the mask. They've shown themselves, they've proudly shown themselves to be the bloodthirsty savages that they are, and it hurts to know it. And it hurts to know that there will never be a two-state solution, that they cannot have two states living in peace, because any state that you give them will just be a base to try and destroy Israel. So, end of two-state solution. We have to take control of our own destiny, and I'm glad that we finally know this for once and for all. And there can be nobody rational who is still clinging on to this absurd notion. Now, I've walked actually past my house over here because I wanted to give you a view of where things are at. I'm getting to a nice little viewpoint here by the Matnas in Ramat Beit Shemesh. That's my shul over here. I'll just reverse the camera for a second. Over there. Okay, so you can just see a little bit of the shul sticking out from behind the trees, but that's where we're based. And this over here is the Matnas Beit Shemesh, which has got a very nice view tower at the top there. I'm not going to take you in there, but I will take you to nearby where there's quite a good viewing position over here. Yeah. So while I'm getting there, I'll just give you a brief family update. We are all physically okay. I think I was the most traumatized of the family. Everyone else just kind of took it in, I guess. I had my trauma of my double trauma of being carjacked and then watching Schindler's List in the same week. Kind of broke something in me that I just can't tolerate this kind of horrible stuff. But anyway, that's where it is now. Okay, here we are now. I'll show you the view again. So here we are. Just coming up to. This is not the greatest view, but I thought I would have a better view from here. Well, you know what? I'll take you down further to another position. Meanwhile, so I was giving you family updates. My wife naturally is being the hero of the neighborhood, organizing and getting together the children of Bnei Ashra, our youth movement that we organized to come together and make packages for soldiers and food and clothing, and organizing whatever we can for to support the war effort. Also volunteered to help get some equipment to the front lines. And Ezra, you're probably all thinking about. My son is a soldier. He is not a combatant. He's a programmer. So he's just carrying on doing what he always does. So it's not actually any major change for his routine, because he was never going to be called to the front lines, which I can't say the same for all of my neighbours' children. I can hear some more booms off in the distance. And the rest of the kids, I mean, on the day, as he was in his yeshiva in Marava on Shabbos, and they didn't even have sirens over there, and they kept getting warnings, and they had to go and run into the shelter. They got warnings from staff who were carrying phones around and getting the red alert things on their phones, so they knew when they had to run into shelter. And they were supposed to have a hired tender come and pick them up from the yeshiva, but they cancelled on us. They didn't really want to go out driving, so I had to go out in my own car to pick them up that night. They were quite distressed at the time, but they were quite happy. Once we picked them up, they'd calmed down, and we brought them home safely. No, nothing eventful there. So here we are. I've come around the block. You can see this is my shul over here, which has got a pretty good view of things in the distance, and I'll show you from here. There's a pretty good view of the whole area down here. You come into this parking area and you'll be able to see the view a little bit better. Yeah. So off in the distance there you can see Tel Aviv. Let's get closer to the wall and I can give you more of a guide. Right. So over there in the distance there, that's Tel Aviv down there. Okay. And if you pan around this way, over the hills and over these buildings over here would be Ashdod and Ashkelon, and in that direction, which you can't see through these buildings over here, would, if we carry on further around that direction. And I didn't see it this time around, but in previous encounters you could actually see in the sky over there the missiles coming from Gaza and the Iron Dome coming from there to intercept them in the sky around over there. Beit Shemesh is a bit of a backwater and we love it that way because it doesn't attract too much attention, and we're like halfway between Gaza and Jerusalem, so if anything comes over towards Jerusalem then we're potentially in the firing line, but for the most part we're out of the action. And we're picking up our mood. The tide of the war seems to have shifted, and I think the mood is also shifting. We still have hostages in Gaza, and we're still praying every day for their release. One of my colleagues of service now, Shlomi Savidia, was among the missing. We don't know if he's captured, if he was killed, if he is still alive. We still pray for his safe return, and there are so many others who are missing. We have no idea where they are, and whoever you are, wherever you are, please just pray for this to be over quickly and soon, with minimum of casualties and total victory to Israel. There's no more compromising. There's no more gloves. No more holding back. It's got to be, the outcome has got to be a total victory. Please pray for that. And please God, we should, good news. We should keep your mood up. Keep happy and keep encouraging, because we're going to be okay over here. Please God, we'll pull through this. We'll be stronger. And what you can do to help us, whether you're in Israel, whether you're in outside Israel, is be strong, be happy, be positive. Please don't get yourself obsessed in social media and following the news. You're not actually helping yourself or anyone by hitting refresh all the time, or scrolling through the feed. I mean, maybe if there's stuff that you want to do, that you've got an active mission to go out, and if you're a social media warrior, if that's your thing, and you're actually contributing something to the effort, then by all means you take that on your own, on your own judgment. But if you're just sitting and consuming news and feeding that dark part of your soul that's seeing all of the atrocities and whatever, don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It just takes you into a dark place, and we need people to be strong, optimistic, positive, whatever the situation. So yeah, you can, if you want to make contributions, you can contribute to MADA, you can contribute to Leman Achai has a fund for supporting the war effort, and they're doing great stuff. And I'll post links under this video for you if you want to follow through and make donations or volunteer in any other kind of way. I'm not any kind of hub for volunteerism. I'll just pass on what I know, and I don't have any special knowledge of what's going on. I'm consuming the news just like anyone else over here. I just wanted to give you a human perspective of where we're at here in Ramat Beit Shemesh, and how life is on this side of the world. We're strong, you be strong. Bezrat Hashem. This will pass, and we'll see happier days in the future. Amen. Kain Yehi Ratzon. God bless you all, and God bless Israel.